All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Quickly, I did a setting to where it kind of jacked up my volume, so hopefully I can kind of speak a little bit further from the mic without it downing the sound. So let me know how the volume is on my voice. Is it just right? Put a thumbs up or a 1. If not, let me know if it's too high or too low. And then we'll get started here. Make sure my settings are good. And they look good. Perfect. All right, let me get my chat set up here. So yeah, just let me know how that volume is. I'm trying to kind of back up a little bit. Because if I get too close and I turn my head, that's when I get that feedback. Perfect. All right, looks good. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Tonight we're going to be covering the Idaho4 case. We're going to be kind of covering something I've done before, but I've added more to it. And that's from the leaked Linda Lane footage. If you don't know what that is, definitely go over all the details. And of course, just for anybody that doesn't know this case, I have a little video I put together just to as well. I see some people asking about my foot. My foot's doing a lot better. I've been doing the therapy for the neuropathy that I have in my feet right now, and oh my gosh, it's like feels 1,000% better than I have since literally like just before Christmas is when I started getting it. So thank you guys so much. I mean, everybody was sending me tips and emailing me things for my foot, so I really appreciate that. That's awesome. You guys are amazing. We got such an amazing community. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Chris with Monsters Under a Bed. We cover true crime, mystery to the missing. And before we get started, we always like to give back by featuring the missing. We do take requests. So if you have a family member, friend, or you know somebody that went missing recently or been missing for years, we take all requests. Just email me and I'd be more than happy to feature them in an upcoming live show. So today we have Samantha Bartolo. She went missing at the end of last year, kind of November 12th of 2023. It says that she was, let me find it here. She was staying at a camp trailer near Gunnison Gorge Conservation Area off H75 Road east of Delta, which is Delta, Colorado. There she was with her boyfriend, David Bennett. He was arrested on previous warrants after her family reported her missing, but has since been released on bond. They believe he has something to do with her disappearance. And so that's this guy right here. So if you've seen this guy, or of course Samantha right here with the red hair, let me get the number here. There we go. I'm just trying to blow it up for you guys. If you are out in that way, if you have any tips or anything, you can call 970-874-2000. Once again, that's Samantha Bartolo, missing out of Delta, Colorado. Excuse me. Oh, I know that case. Tyler Stice. Yes. So I'm a big fan of the Explore With Us YouTube channel. They're one of the big channels that inspired me to become a YouTuber. And yeah, they actually covered that case, a wild case. I can't remember exactly where he went missing, but I do kind of remember parts of the story, like they found his car. Yeah, really odd story. Yeah, maybe I'll have to cover that case. Yeah, very tragic one. And then this, and then one more. We have Tanya Whip, missing out of Auburndale, Florida. She went missing last year as well, May 26. She was 38, 5'7", 145 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Says she has several tattoos. Not many notes on exactly where she went missing, but I'm sure there is if we looked it up. But anyway, if you have any information, you can call 863-965-5555. Once again, that is Tanya Whipp, missing out of Auburndale, Florida. Yay, Evo Crew. I know. Like I said, they inspired me. They kind of changed their their content. You know, they used to go out, explore abandoned places, and then they kind of went into the missing a bit. And now they kind of do like the interrogation videos and stuff, and they do it really well. What an amazing channel. And like I said, that's literally one of the top YouTube channels that inspired me to do what I do. So big shout out to them. All right, let's get going. So first, just for anybody that has not heard of this case, we'll just go over the timeline, and then we'll get into the leaked Linda Lane footage. And then, like I said, I've got some new stuff I'm really excited to show you guys.
Since November 13th, 2022, I'm talking about that quadruple stabbing situation.
Oh, oops, I pulled up the wrong video. I guess it would help to pull up the right one.
2022 at approximately 2:42 a.m.
Let me know how the volume is on this as well. I'll just play it, and if you just want to put a thumbs up, or let me know if it's too loud, or if anything is going to be just right, maybe too loud, so just let me know.
The 8458 phone was utilizing cell resources that provide coverage to 1630 Northeast Valley Road of Pullman, Washington, hereafter known as the Kohberger residence.
Like 4.
At approximately 2:47 a.m., the phone cell resources that provide coverage southeast of Kohberger residence consisted with the phone leaving the Kohberger residence and traveling south through Pullman, Washington. This is consistent with the movement of the white Elantra. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with the phone either being in an area without cellular coverage or the connection to the network is disabled, such as putting the phone in airplane mode, or that the phone is turned off.
So this is, I'm just kind of repeating the PCA affidavit, and then obviously matching it with a video that I put together, just kind of match the visuals with the PCA affidavit. Now this video is just 5 minutes to recap for anybody that may not know, and then we're going to get into the Linda Lane leaked footage, and then also I do have some updates as well, because he was in court last week. I can't remember if it's like Wednesday, Thursday, something like that, and we get some ideas about when the trial's going to start.
On the evening of November 12th, 2022, Ethan and Xana are seen by Bethany at the Sigma Chi house on University of Idaho campus at 735 Drive from approximately 9 p.m. on November 12th to 1:45 a.m. on November 13th. Bethany also estimates that at approximately 1:45, Ethan and Xana returned to the King Road residence. Bethany also stated that Chapman did not live in the King Road residence, but was a guest of Xana's. Kaylee and Maddie were at the local bar, the Corner Club at 202 North Main Street, in Moscow. Kaylee and Maddie can be seen on footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. and 1:30 a.m. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Kaylee and Maddie can be seen on video at the local food vendor called The Grub Truck at 318 South Main Street in downtown Moscow. A private party reported that he provided a ride to Kaylee and Maddie at approximately 1:56 a.m. from downtown Moscow in front of the Grub Truck to the King Road residence. Dylan and Bethany both made statements during the interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep or at least in their rooms by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Xana, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. Dylan stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. Dylan stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she said sounded like Kaylee playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, Dylan said she heard who she thought was Kaylee saying something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of the records obtained from forensic download of Xana's phone showed this could also have been Xana, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. Dylan stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. Dylan stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Xana's room. Dylan then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At approximately 4:17, a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up a distorted audio of what sounded like voices of a whimper followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times, starting at 4:17 a.m. Dylan stated she opened her door for a third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. Dylan described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past Dylan as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. Dylan locked herself in her room after seeing the male. Dylan did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. King Road. Suspect Vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of King Road residence at approximately 4:20 at a high rate of speed. Suspect Vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Walenta Drive. I believe that Suspect Vehicle 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse River.
Jesse Jean, that's an interesting statement. I think he either knew it was Kaylee's last night there before she moved, or that the car belonged to a guy, which sent him into a stalker fury. That's an interesting statement. Because let's just say, in theory, if all these, because he supposedly, his phone's tracked, 12 times from his home to near their neighborhood. And yeah, what if, all those times he was waiting for, the right time to attack, and this was it because, yeah, she was going to be leaving if she was like the target, which many suspect. But yeah, that's an interesting statement. Never thought about that. If you're just tuning in, welcome. We're just recapping the story. We're almost done here, and then we're going to get into the leaked Linda Lane footage, and we're going to work together because I'll talk about this here in just a minute. But yeah, we're going to be doing the audio and the video that I put together, and I've got some new interesting stuff that I'm going to show you. And we can work together on this. I'm really excited.
Drive in Constanoga Drive. The phone does not report to the network again until approximately 4:48 a.m., at which time it is utilized cell resources that provide coverage to ID State Highway 95 south of Moscow, Idaho, near Blaine, Idaho. Between 4:50 a.m. and 5:26 a.m., the phone utilizes cell resources that are consistent with the phone traveling south on Idaho State Highway 95 to Genesee, Idaho, then traveling west towards Uniontown, Idaho, and then north back into Pullman, Washington. At approximately 5:30, the phone is utilizing resources that provide coverage to Pullman, Washington, and consistent with the phone traveling back to the Kohberger residence.
They don't want us to have.
Okay, so that's just a recap. I always like to recap, when we're covering these, just for anybody that may not be familiar with these cases. I just saw a comment here. Chris, the comment about Kaylee playing with her dog at 4 p.m. seems 4 a.m. to me is ridiculous. Who plays with her dog at 4 a.m.? I mean, we know that, apparently she was making phone calls to, her boyfriend, Jack. They were trying to get a hold of him. There was 9 to 10 calls. So we know that they were up. So, and then, she slept in Maddie's bedroom. So maybe she had, went to her room, and then, maybe the dog got excited because, she'd been in, Maddie's room and then came back, but yeah, who knows? Or, if it was around 4, it could have been the DoorDash driver arriving and maybe the dog got excited because it heard something. I mean, so many possibilities to interpret playing with the dog, I guess is another thing is how you interpret that. All right. So just before the Linda Lane footage, I just wanted to play this one little part here. This is from the hearing last week. There's some interesting stuff, and I've also got some hearing at the end as well.
For other reasons, those things take time as well. We don't have complete discovery. I don't think the state has complete discovery, but we definitely don't have complete discovery. I'll give you a couple of examples. There is a video that's a really important video, and we early on received some of it. And we are still waiting for the complete of it. The court would know from our 11th discovery request that there's still outstanding portions of that video that we need to have. And I think the state's working through it, trying to match up video and sound together for the completion, the full several days worth of video. But there's not even
several days worth of video. Several days. I know we've talked about this, and she talks about the terabyte thing, and even does some calculations, which I'm going to play later at the end. But yeah, this is very interesting. They're going to have a full video, which I kind of anticipated anyway, because it just a lot of, there's 51 terabytes, and that's clearly majority of that. The reason why that's so big is because a lot of this case is going to be video surveillance footage. That's going to be a large portion of this case, or a good portion of this case, is surveillance footage. And it seems like it sounds like they're putting a timeline together, with all the footage of, point A to point B, so I think that's what she's talking about. But man, that sounds like a lot.
in an estimated day when we'll get that.
Okay. All right. So let me move this comment here. Now, if you haven't seen what this is all about, I will explain this, and I want to add in some more stuff because I did this about a month ago, and it was quite well received. Apparently, even Chris from the interview room had talked about it, and then I heard that possibly a certain network may pick this up. So that's why I'm doing this again, because there's one more step that I wanted to do, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But that would be really cool. I mean, that's not what I'm here. I'm just here I love doing experiments and stuff like this. So anyway, we have the what's known as the Banfield body cam footage. Now, in the Banfield body cam footage, while they're dealing with these underage students that were caught drinking, and they're getting tickets, during that time, we had we have the Linda Lane footage, which we have from, I don't know if it's at 1 a.m. At the beginning we got 4 to 5 p.m. and 3 to 4 a.m. and then the earlier hours were released. So I think it's either from 2 to 5 or 1 to 5. I'm not sure. You can correct me in the chat. But anyway, so there's 4 cars that pass by, right, in this video while they're giving tickets out. At the same time, we have the Linda Lane footage, obviously, that's recording. And I wanted to see, because we can hear vehicles in the Linda Lane footage going by. And I kind of figured out that those vehicle noises are coming down Taylor Avenue, which is this road that we're looking at. Now, if you're new to this, it's going to be different, but I promise it's very, very interesting. So as we can see, it's almost 3 a.m. in the morning. This is a full hour, almost a full hour before suspect vehicle 1 comes. But as you see, here comes a vehicle at 2:58. Here it goes by. And so I just wanted to show that. Now that car is... And so now we're going to replay this, and I line up the... so as you can see, the times are lined up. I think one of these are off. I'd probably say the surveillance may be off by a few seconds, but I think they're pretty darn close. But anyway, we'll notice that we can hear this vehicle. Now, obviously, when we see the map, we're going to hear the vehicle first because it's heading west. So we'll hear the vehicle first, and then we'll see the vehicle drive by. And then I'll explain what the new discovery is here in just a minute. So we hear the sound of the vehicle, or a vehicle. And then shortly, a few minutes later, or not minutes, but less than a minute later, we see the vehicle drive by, which would make sense because we're catching the audio way before, and then there would be a gap, and then we see the vehicle. So that vehicle we know is heading west. So one of the other things that I wanted to do is, could we tell, just by listening to the audio, could we tell which way the vehicles are heading? We have these 4 cars that we can use to kind of tell the sounds. And I noticed, okay, so we're going to do it one more time. And so I wrote down each time the car goes by, and I wanted to see, how the sound is. Now keep in mind that the car is on the right side, so it's further when it's heading west. Then when a car is going east, it's going to be on the right side of the road, which would mean it would be a little bit closer to the camera and the audio. And I noticed there is a pattern where it's almost more of a mellow to high, but mostly mellow sound as the car is going by. And let me know what you think. And like I said, we're going to have a bunch of examples. Notice that's kind of like a mellow to a little bit high at the high pitch towards the end, but for the most part it's mellow. Now I know there can be many factors, the type of car, the car, truck, how fast it's going, but there is, to me, a pattern that I think we can kind of tell which way the vehicles are going, which is going to be important when we don't know, when we don't have this, because obviously these guys go away, and then when the suspect vehicle is driving around, all we have is, the still footage. We can't see, where the vehicles are going. But I feel like there is a pattern, and you'll, for those who are still maybe confused, I'll explain it more. But notice it was kind of a mellow to a high pitch when it was heading west. And so this is the first car. And now, obviously, we'd hear the vehicle first because obviously the camera is over here. Now we see the car go by. I'm going to say surveillance and security. I'll probably say both of them. We both know what I mean.
That.
Okay, so this is the second vehicle. Now this vehicle is going to be heading east.
$59.77. Are you going to be issuing?
And that's a truck.
Copy. I'll bring him over and write out one myself. All right, guys, come on over here.
All right, so we saw that truck going west, or excuse me, east. So now we're gonna play. We line up the time as best I could. It's off of like a few seconds, but same scenario. So now it'd be opposite. We would see the vehicle first, and then hear it a few seconds later. But notice it's the sound. Now that this one's going east, it sounds a little bit more high pitched. Now this one's a truck, so you know, like I said, we have variables. Once again, showing you guys with the map up here, and so we saw the vehicle go by, and then we'll hear a vehicle here in a second. So obviously with the truck going east, it's going to be on the right side of the road, which is going to be a little bit closer to the camera, picking up the audio. And to me, it sounds a little bit more higher pitched. Now, yes, this is a truck, so you know there's going to be some variables with that. But with the last two cars, it seems like there is kind of that same commonality.
Dude, be smart about it. I'm not going to say I didn't drink in college, I did, but I can go staggering around the middle of the roadway, you know, afterwards. So, not saying you're a bad person or anything, but there's a way to do it, obviously, and there's a way to do it.
You know, when that video first, when this video first came out, you know, this is when they had the timeline at, what was it, 2 to 3 or around 3 a.m. They said that the attack happened. And yeah, and there was what looks to be like a white car going by, but I don't think that. And originally I thought it's possible it could have been, but I don't think so.
Not obviously.
Because okay, so this car's going west, so we're going to hear it first, and then we'll see it on the body cam footage. And notice it's more of kind of a mellow sound, kind of goes mellow to high, but for the most part it is a little bit more mellow.
Not obviously.
We just played it, and then see, here comes that car goes by. One more time. Notice how for the most part that's mellow, and let me know if you disagree, if you hear something different. For the most part that sounds mellow. Yes, there's somebody messing with their car nearby the camera, but then we see the vehicle go by. So you know, that's when I was doing this, I had to know, like, you know, are we hearing the vehicles on Taylor Ave? And you know, just to kind of show you guys, you know, here is the source of the video, and obviously here's a, you know, a circle around it, and, you know, the only roads we have is Taylor Ave. We have this street here, but obviously we would hear a car like slow down or rev up, and obviously with the traffic we're hearing, I doubt we may hear like maybe one car go down this lane, you know, this road, but clearly this is the only road that is within this range. So anyway, continuing on. So now we're going to go back to a car. So we had 2 cars going west, 1 east, the truck going east. Now we're going to have one last car going, let's see, west, east, west, east.
What state was your license out of? Idaho? Height?
6'3".
Weight?
Probably about 155.
I will explain Spanish. So we see the car go by. Now, obviously it's going to take a little bit until we hear the vehicle. Once again, vehicle goes by the camera where these guys are at, and then we are going to hear the vehicle about right there. So that one sounded a little bit more mellow, but for the most part, it seems like when they're going west, it's kind of, I'm looking at my notes here. Usually when it's going west, it's kind of a mellow to high, but when it's going east, it's usually kind of a higher pitch, then maybe a little bit of mellow. And the reason why I did this is because those were... give us some examples that this theory is sound, that we are hearing the vehicles from Taylor Ave, because now that body cam, you know, they are now leaving because they have written their tickets. So now all we have is the Linda Lane footage, but we have these cars that go by, and then we have obviously the suspect vehicle coming around a bunch of times. And so now, using and timing up all those cars, and they're lining up with, you know, the time we hear them until we see them, and vice versa, depending on which way they're going, proves my theory that this is Taylor Avenue. Now, this is the suspect vehicle's car. Now he's going to be heading west, which usually west is more of a kind of a mellow to high, but usually more mellow sound. And I'll replay that one more time. Notice for the most part it's mellow, and then there's a little bit of high. Now, from when that car was heard, we will see it at exactly almost a minute and 20 seconds later. And so we're putting all the math and patterns together to kind of create what the suspect vehicle is doing after we see it come around. And it's kind of interesting. Actually, it's very interesting. I'm just looking at chat here. So we heard the car at 3:20. At 3. So yeah, we saw that car, or heard that car at basically 3:28 and 30 seconds approximately when we heard it. And so now it's been 1 minute and 20 seconds. Or 3:29, I'm sorry. So that gives us a reference point that we know if a car is coming west, that it takes approximately 1 minute and 20 seconds to come into Queen Road. Now this gives us an idea of what the suspect does next, which is very interesting. Because now we're listening to see if we can hear a car go down Taylor Ave. This will make sense here in a minute, Junior, I promise. For those that have seen this, you'll understand here in just a minute. So we're not hearing any vehicles, which most likely means that the suspect parked and is probably scoping the area. And there's even a pattern from when we see him come around the corner until he leaves. And then it also gives us an idea of which direction did he go when he heads out, because we know that he comes around 5 times. He makes 5 passes. As you can hear, no cars, nothing going on. We'll hear some bangs and some random noise from the people living nearby. Now we saw him at 3:31. Now this is where, if we didn't hear a car for like the next 5 minutes, that means that he would have had to go down Walenta Drive, which means he would have taken a left after he goes down Queen Road. Or excuse me, King Road. But after he made that first pass, in my opinion, he heads out Taylor Avenue. Notice how it's a little more high pitched to me. So I think when a car's going east, it's a little more high pitched. Let me know what you guys think. Keep in mind the car would be a little bit closer. Notice for the most part it's kind of a little more higher pitch. And then if you're just wondering what that 3 minutes, this will be important in a minute. So the 3 minutes and 10 seconds was from when we saw him come around the corner at 3:31 on basically on the dot as he was coming around. So that means he spent at least 2 minutes approximately sitting close by the house, probably scoping it out. And trust me, this is gonna get even more fascinating. Oh, definitely, Alan. Yeah, totally. There's going to be tons of variables for sure, for sure. But what I'm going to do, this is going to be a 2-part series because, like I said, I had a possible network that may try to use my stuff, and so this is kind of a part 1, and then I'm going to have a second video, which is just going to be, it's not going to be a live, it's just going to be a regular upload. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually have the audio, the actual audio live, so we can see the sounds of the cars going west and east and see if there's a pattern, which I think there is going to be a decent pattern. So I think he drove around Taylor Ave, came down Wilanta, and if you time this out, if you like Google Map this is almost 8 minutes. Or actually, excuse me, this is 5 minutes because he did spend a little bit of time here. So this is 5 minutes from here, and I think this is the drive he took because, remember, we know if we hear a car coming west from Taylor Avenue that's going to pull into the neighborhood, it's going to take 1 minute and 20 seconds until we see that vehicle. But this time we don't, which just further ensues my theory that he went this direction and he comes from Wilanta, which means we're not going to hear him, and then we're just going to see the car and watch what happens. We hear a vehicle, but I think that's just a random vehicle driving by. To me, it sounded like it was going east. So we're gonna skip this forward a little bit. Oh, sorry guys. So the next time we're going to see him is at 3:39, which means if he was coming back down Taylor Ave, we should be able to hear him somewhere around 3:38, or actually just before 3:38. Right here we should hear a vehicle if he was coming back down Taylor Ave. But we don't. So no vehicle sound for the next 50 seconds, and we're going to see the vehicle here in just a minute. Which means he would have had to come from Wilanta Drive, which supports the theory that he took this route, going out Taylor Ave, circling around. minute. And here's that car. So it was 8 minutes since we last seen him from the first pass. We didn't hear a vehicle a minute and 20 seconds before, which means he most likely took Walenta Drive, so he went down Taylor Ave, circled back around. And now once again, we just saw the vehicle at 3:39. And just like clockwork, we're not going to hear a vehicle for about 3 minutes, which means there's a good possibility that he did the same thing as he came back, maybe parked in the back, scoping and scanning the house. Oh, thank you, my real Micro K. That means the world to me. I've spent a lot of work on this. Like I said, it's caught some other content creators. I'm very humbled by that. I just love to do science and experiments, and I felt like there was definitely more that we could figure out from this footage. So we don't hear any vehicles, but we're going to notice another pattern again here in just a minute. And just again, a great way to support this channel. I don't ask a lot, but if you would like to donate, we have many different ways: PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats. I know it's kind of the end of the month, but anything does help. So we saw the vehicle at 3:39, and the last time he left, it took him 3 minutes and 30 seconds, I think, something like that. And just like clockwork, just a second. Well, it's been 3 minutes since we saw the vehicle. Notice again, it's a little bit more higher tone, which I believe, in my opinion, that one's going east. I don't know for sure, but again, just like from the first pass, it took 3 minutes and 30 seconds until we heard a car, which means we know a minute and 20 seconds it takes to leave or enter from Queen Road, approximately here, to get to Taylor Avenue right here, which means he spent at least 2 minutes, approximately 2 minutes, probably scoping and scanning. So we have 2 times that are almost identical. I think one was 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and this one's 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So we hear a vehicle on Taylor Ave, I believe going east. That's speculation, but here is the 2 times. Now I'm going to skip forward here. Now we're at 3:55 because this pass, there's 5 passes total. 4 of those passes, he takes 8 minutes until he comes back around. Except between 2 and 3, he takes 18 minutes, which is interesting. It seems like maybe he liked what he saw on that second pass, and so now he's going to drive off, and maybe we know that he got the Dickies overall suit, so maybe, he was going to go drive off, go down Taylor Ave, and maybe park somewhere, get suited up, and then, so he spent an extra 10 minutes kind of getting ready, because maybe he liked what he saw from the second pass, and so this, the next time he comes is, the one that he's anticipating. Heather, whatever, thank you so much for the $4.99. She says thank you. Oops, pause it here. Thank you so much, Heather. That means the world to me. It helps me out so much. I can't do this without the support of you guys, and that's so amazing. Thank you so much. So now listen to the car, because like I said, we're trying to figure out a commonality with the sounds, because we know which vehicles were going which way with the first 4 cars, but now, we don't have the Banfield cameras anymore. These guys are gone, so now we only have the sounds to go off. Now, we hear, in my opinion, is now Kohberger coming back Taylor Avenue. Or suspect vehicle. I'll just say suspect vehicles. I know some people may not be, are still maybe undecided or on the other fence. Notice that sound is, let me know what you guys think in chat. That sounds, for the most part, it's mellow to a slight high pitch towards the end, but I'm going to go back because, like I said, this is going to be the new part of my experiment, and I'm going to add in, like I said, I'm going to have a video for you guys, but I'm going to add in the actual audio, live audio, to kind of see if we can see the patterns of west versus east. But let me know what you think in chat. It sounds more mellow for the most part when they're going west. Because I would think the acoustics would be different from a vehicle going one direction and another with all these buildings. And then also, the car going east is going to be on the right side, which means it's going to be closer to the audio source. So it makes sense it'd be a little bit louder. Like I said, yes, there's still all these variables, the vehicle speed. I do still understand, you have to take that into consideration. But notice, we just heard that a vehicle sound at 3:55, almost 3:56, and watch, a minute and 20 seconds later, guess who's going to be passing by? So remember, on his first pass, it was a minute and 20 seconds. we heard that car at 3:55 and 45 seconds. And so 3:57, 1 minute 25 seconds. It goes around like clockwork. So now what does he do next? It was 3:57 when he went around. Thank you, Peggy. You guys are amazing, and I'll try to pause the show here in a minute. Try to get some chat here. Feels that he has a definite route around the house. Yes, totally agree. Keeping it real. How long does this experiment take? Great work. Well, we're taking just every time we see the vehicle, and then we're listening to the vehicle, minutes before and minutes after, to see, is he going back down Taylor Ave, or if we don't hear the car at all, that means he's going to go down Wallanter Drive, which I think he does one of these times. But this one, he's actually going to go back down Taylor Ave. For the most part, it seems like he's going around Taylor Ave. But he did come back Taylor Ave, so that 18-minute one gap, he did go out Taylor Ave, but he did come back. So to me, this is where it gets different, because he didn't spend any time down there, parked there. And I think this is because there were probably lights on, and Xana has a DoorDash order coming. So notice he was seen at almost exactly 3:57 when he came around the corner. And now it's 3:58 and 20 seconds where we start to hear a vehicle kind of speeding off, and it's pretty high pitch to me, which when it's going east, I think it's a little more higher pitched, and we'll listen to that. So to me, I think there was activity going on, and he didn't like what he saw, so he continued off. Oh, how long did this experiment take? Oh gosh, couple weeks. To put everything together, I mean, yeah, a couple weeks, and I've added on. So, I mean, I don't want to overplay how long I've done this, but yeah, it took a couple weeks to put this all together. I mean, keep in mind I'm doing other things at the same time as well, so it's not just straight 2 weeks. But yeah. And notice, so it was 3:57 when we saw the car go around. Remember, it takes 1 minute and 20 seconds to either come from Taylor Avenue or to the Queen Road Apartments approximately, or vice versa. Obviously, it would be the same time. And notice what time it is. It's exactly 1 minute and about a little 20 seconds later, and we hear a car. So it looks like he just went around the apartments, did not like what he saw, and left, and now he's going down Taylor Ave. And notice it's higher pitch. So to me, I think there is a a pattern with the west versus east. And like I said, I'm going to be doing some more with this. Let me get to chat for a minute. I think we got a couple of... where are you, Tom? I can't find you, buddy. Thank you for all your hard work. Love, enjoy your content. This case is crazy. I haven't heard anything and seen anything that makes him look innocent. No phone, no alibi. His car might have data logs. Justice for these kids. Thank you so much, Tom. Well said, buddy. Really appreciate your support. Yeah, the alibi thing, I think they're wanting some answers with that. Mad Maven with the 1999 super sticker. Thank you so much, Mad Maven. You are so awesome. Really appreciate the support. I can't do this stuff without your guys' amazing support. I know not everybody can donate, but I do appreciate those that can. All right, so we just heard, in my opinion, suspect vehicle leaving down Taylor Ave. And what do we hear just moments later? We hear a vehicle, and that started at 3:58 in about 45 seconds. And we'll notice in about a minute and 20 some odd seconds, in my opinion, I think this is the DoorDash driver. But I don't think the DoorDash driver and the suspect vehicle ever seen each other, except for maybe in passing. For those that may not know it, they ordered from Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box is in Pullman, Washington. I was looking up, if I was going to order that and I was going to get it delivered to 1122 King Road. It's approximately a 40-minute, time frame. Because obviously, there's probably only one driver, and it's out late at night. But yes, they do have the 24/7, and as long as there's a driver available, DoorDash will deliver if there is a driver. Because some people have always kind of argued, well, why would there be a DoorDash driver at 4 a.m.? But like in college towns, and they would make a huge, probably a good amount of money with tips, because people are probably ordering, under the influence, and then probably tipping well. So I'm sure they make some really good money. But anyway, not to ramble on, but the route, obviously, that this guy would take, if we were to just plug in, we'll just put in Pullman, Washington here. You'll see this is the route that he would have taken. It's a 20-minute drive, so it probably took 20 minutes to get the order, the driver to get there. So she probably ordered that probably around 3 a.m. approximately. And then if you look at the way that would come in, because I know usually a lot of them are using some kind of Google Maps or whatever. And as you can see, this is the route that would come in, and so obviously they would be coming off Taylor Ave. It wouldn't make sense for them to come off of Walnut Drive. So anyway, I just wanted to pull that up, and as we hear in just a minute, we're going to hear a car beep. Now, I don't know if this is for sure the DoorDash driver, but it's kind of interesting because it's almost exactly a minute, 20 some odd seconds since we heard the car, and it lines up with the 4 a.m. DoorDash driver. Now, we hear some beeps, and I want to know in the chat, let me know. I forgot to test this before, so I was testing on my car. My key fob, so when I lock the door, it beeps once, and if I unlock it, it beeps twice. Let me know if it's different from you guys. I think for the most part that's kind of universal. Now I know newer cars are different. You get out of the car with your key fob, I think it'll like automatically lock if you're walking away. So I don't know if you guys experience that. But anyway, we hear what sounds 2 beeps. Could be him locking the door. This would be the path that they would take. Thank you so much, Joanne Jackson, for the $4.99. Love your channel, all your hard work you put into it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Joanne. You are so sweet. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So we hear another set of beeps shortly after. And then about a minute and 20 seconds later, we hear our car go by. So, in my opinion, that is the DoorDash driver that arrived. And if anybody's not familiar with DoorDash driver, you just order. You have an app. You order your food. You can put a special note, like, let's say you want it dropped off in the back of the house. If you had a setup like theirs where you have the front door, but they usually use the back door, so you just type in, hey, drop it off at the back door. They don't really communicate with you, like face to face. They don't knock on the door or anything. They literally will take the food to the door. They would drop it off. They take a picture of it. That way, that's for their security that they dropped it off at the right place. I think they even send that picture to you as well, so that way you know that it's there. And then that's it, and then they're gone. Because obviously, they're in a rush because they're not getting paid to be slow. They get paid to be fast. Let's see. I saw some people. Mine is 2 honks for unlock. Yeah, that's what mine is. Two for unlock and 1 for lock. But I always press my lock like at least 2 times, maybe 3. I think it's like an OCD thing. But yeah, I always press my lock button like at least twice. Let me know if you do that in chat. But I don't know why, because if you hear the 2 beeps when it unlocks, I almost have to do 2 beeps to lock it. Anyway, now moving on. So we know that we still have a couple more passes. So now the next time, so we last saw the suspect vehicle at 3:57. Now we're not going to see him for the 8 minutes at 3:59. Or 4:05. I'm sorry. Do you think he could have left in another car all bloodied while someone else clean drove his car? I don't think so, White Rump. I think the more suspects, there's more likely someone's gonna say something. The more people that are involved, the more likely that something's gonna go wrong. Somebody's gonna leave some kind of evidence. So, in my opinion, I don't think so. He bought. Now, yes, Bryan Kohberger is presumed innocent, but we can still talk about this stuff. But yeah, he apparently bought an overalls dickie. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, he bought, and they have receipts for it, and they have the actual, or actually, I don't know if they have the thing. So yeah, he bought this, and actually, yeah, I don't think they have that. I'm not sure. Did they collect that? Anyway, I'm trying to find the one where I had the receipt for it. It might be on the other one. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so they have a Walmart receipt with the Dickies tag. And so anyway, this Dickies tag is for a Dickies overall suit. And then you have black service gloves. So it's very interesting that they have the receipt for this outfit, which was bought, from what I understand, only a few months prior to the homicides. But I don't know 100%, but it's not in what they recovered, from my understand. So it seems to me that he disposed of that, in my opinion. So keep that in mind. So I think the reason why he probably didn't get much blood, even though you would think he'd be bloody, and he probably was, assuming he's responsible, he would probably just have like a bag in his trunk, and he probably just took his overalls off, threw that in the bag, probably had clothes underneath, and bam, and then go burn the evidence. So anyway, continuing on. Why not the front door? Are you talking about DoorDash driver? It seems like they use, if you know their routines, that they're always going to the back door, usually. And it just makes more sense, because I guess it's easier to come in and out. Yeah. So I would assume it would have came through the back door. Oh, once for both. Interesting. Okay. So remember, he left out Taylor Avenue because we heard it 1 minute and 20 seconds approximately since we had seen him since his third pass at 3:57. And we'll notice here that we're going to see the vehicle at 4:05, 4 minutes 05. Now notice we should hear a vehicle 1 minute and 20 seconds before that, which means 4:05, that would be 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So we should be hearing a vehicle at 3 minutes and 40 seconds right here. But notice we don't hear anything, which means he probably looped around again. And he's coming back Walnut Drive. Thank you, Karen Boardman, for, oh my gosh, a whole year being a member. That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Karen, for the continued support. You are so sweet. Thank you so much. Right. Notice we don't hear any vehicle, and we are going to see the car in 30 seconds, which to me, with the science experiment we're doing here, would tell us that he circled around Taylor Ave and is coming now from Walnut Drive. could definitely see that SD. For sure. And so here we see him for the 4th time. Which means he came down from Willanton Drive, most likely, because we didn't hear anything prior to that. And now he does something different, which is very fascinating. So to me, it almost seems like I haven't really thought about this. I wonder why he made this 3-point turn. Why did he not go down? Why not did he circle like the other 4 times that he does? Why is he doing this 3-point turn? Unless he's like automatically does not like what he sees when he was driving down. Which, keep in mind, they just got the DoorDash order, 4 minutes ago. Well, about 5 minutes ago. Here's the suspect vehicle. Here's the reenaction here. Reenactment. Seems like he was not happy with what he saw. Or maybe it was, but he was making sure maybe these other houses he wanted to double check. Maybe he did like what he saw. Actually, now that I think about it, because he's going to do the 3-point turn and then come back. So maybe he did like what he saw and he wanted to scope this area because he's going to do his last turn. He's going to go around. So maybe he liked what he saw. Now that I think about this, because this is going to be his last one. So he does the 3-point turn and he wants to just kind of check the neighboring homes, because maybe now the lights are off. So he's like, okay, I need to now kind of, check the surrounding homes. And remember that they have the most important camera right here, which has got very great quality, which points this way and is going to capture his vehicle over 8 times, front and back, because obviously every time he enters and leaves on a pass, that's 2 times. So so that'd be 8 times. So he makes another 3-point turn somewhere in here. Seems like maybe scanning to make sure nobody's moving about. Our final pass. And sadly, it seemed like this was he was confident in the surrounding homes and what he saw when he was coming in at 405. I believe most likely parked in the back, and sadly probably got ready for a few minutes, and then I think he was in the home about 4:09.
Has been.
And then, the rest is history. Now, obviously, there's so much that we don't know. There's still kind of many holes that could be in this theory that I have. I know there's definitely a lot of variables, but I do think there is some kind of commonality between the vehicles going west and east. And I wish I had more time to and this will be in the video that I put out. Is like I said, I'll have the live audio so you can see, the actual audio and stuff. And then we'll just kind of mirror all the vehicles that are going west and the ones that are going east, and then kind of put those next to each other so we can kind of see if there's a commonality. But I think that kind of gives us an idea of the suspect vehicle and the directions it was heading. So it did make a couple passes around Taylor Avenue and came back down Walnut Drive. There was one time he did go out Taylor Avenue, and then it seems like he came back down Taylor Avenue using the, time frames. But let me know what you think in chat. And then I've just got a little bit here. I'm sorry, I've got an itch in my back. There's just a spot that's way up there that I can't touch. But I'll play just a little bit here in just a second. This is from the hearing, but I think they talk a little bit about the terabytes, and then they also talk about when they believe they're going to be ready for the trial. Christina King, yes, I boosted up my audio, so I'm so glad I did that. I wish I would have done that sooner, because usually I've got to be so freaking close to this mic, and then if I turn my earbuds will, if they get too close to the receiver, obviously I get feedback, and you guys hear it too, and I apologize. So now I can kind of sit back, which is much nicer. And I don't have to scream into the mic, so. Yeah, I always have closed caption on if I can. I'm so glad that they have that. So let me get to a few comments here. If you feel different, let me know. We just ask everybody to be respectful. It seems like everyone's been really good in the chat. I know not everybody agrees, on when it comes to guilty or not guilty. Obviously, it's clear where I stand, but we're adults and we can, agree to disagree. I'm just trying to. The 3-point turn, yeah, it is kind of around that area, yeah, and we'll probably see that 3-point turn on that camera that we were talking about, one of the most important cameras. This one here, which is looking this way. So we'll see him do that 3-point turn. Now, unfortunately, there's a bunch of cars there. But still, here, do I have it here? Oh, I think it's in my other folder. Anyway, let me get to chat for a minute here, and then we'll listen to this last part. He saw that DoorDash. I think he was trying to get on the heels of that. Interesting. Yeah, possibly. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm 100% on board with that, Real Micro Kimmy. 100%. That is going to be in my opinion, I don't want to say nail in the coffin because that's a little too confident, but it's got the audio with it, which is going to be huge. Oh, I'm so glad that you guys can hear me better. Oh, I'm so excited about that. That's so nice. Anyway, okay, let me play this last little bit here. We just got a little bit more. Like I said, I was doing this. I'm going to put out a part 2 with the audio and stuff, kind of further explaining and showing you guys the audio, which I'm really excited because, like I said, it'd be cool if it got to that network that may be interested in using this. And like I said, I love doing these kind of experiments.
Ongoing for 13 months almost as well. We have not been sitting back and waiting. Your Honor, in this case, the complexities are that there are special areas of focus. And when we get to trial, counsel for the state will put on experts to educate the jury on specific areas of focus, as will we. And it takes a while to get all of that done. In addition to that, as the court knows, everything is recorded. There's digital footprints all over the place. And so we have a lot of records that we have to go through. I know that the court has heard about 51 terabytes of information that we've received. And I want to tell you what that means. Miss Massa found a statistic for me, and I want to tell you how much 51 terabytes of data is. And she found that. She was looking at Dropbox.com, and 51 terabytes of our discovery, to put it in perspective, 1 terabyte can hold 250,000 pictures. 1 terabyte, and we have 51 of those. Or 500 hours of high definition video, and we just have one of those. So 500 hours times 51, or
500 hours times 51. Well, you would do what? 500 times 5. It's like 250,000 hours. No, not 250,000 hours. 2,500. I'd have to type that in. But yeah, that's... So, a 13-year investigation into Rex Heuermann. 13 years. Yeah, pretty sure it's 13-year investigation into Rex Heuermann, which is the Gilgo Beach killer. At least 4 victims on his plate right now. They did a lot of surveillance and stuff. They have 8 terabytes. 13 years of investigation. They have 8 terabytes. We have this, which took them, 3 months of investigation. Now, obviously, I'm sure there's much more that happened after the arrest. But 51 terabytes in this case. And this is only, a year... Just a little over a year into the investigation, 51 terabytes compared to 13 years. So it tells you they've clearly, we've gone over this. It's a lot of footage.
6.5 million document pages. And that's equal to 1,300 filing cabinets. And we have 51 terabytes, not just
1,300 filing cabinets. And then obviously this is just speculation. She's kind of comparing, well, if you turn the 51 terabytes into like reports and photos, obviously, the memory space of that wouldn't be as big. So you would have much more files. So if that was like all more or less files, she's saying like that many cabinets. Versus video, but we know I won't say what, like 80% of that sounds like it's probably video.
So that's a lot. There's specialized knowledge. There's a lot to go through in this case.
That's a lot.
We also have another player in the case, and that's the presence of the media. This is a case that has drawn a ton of attention from the media, and it continues to do so, and I don't think that's stopping anytime soon. The impact of that is that we have found that when we want to talk to witnesses, sometimes they don't want anything to do with us. Sometimes they're people that have already talked to the media too much, and so we shouldn't talk to them or bring them into the case. So that's just a complication. We're working through it. We're working around it. But that's something that the court has to be aware of. I want to let the court know that there are over 400 potential witnesses in the innocence phase alone. I personally...
400 potential witnesses. Now, potential, I'm sure that number is going to drop. But they're saying now they're looking at 13 to a 15-week trial. the defense team says that they would be ready in May of next year, where the judge, I didn't want to spend too much on that because I knew we'd probably been running for about an hour and a half, which is I usually try to keep it to that. But I think the judge said, he kind of wants to go early spring, kind of compromise, let's get this a little bit earlier, because he was talking about the families, here, the poor families, the victims, victims' families, they have to suffer until they can get that justice. And so, yeah, he was definitely talking about that when they're kind of discussing the, when to do the trial. So seems like the trial is not going to be this year. The prosecution did offer, to go this summer, but it sounds like they, still got a long ways to go. And so right now it looks like we're somewhere early next year, spring or summer, I guess, is what we're looking at. But what a wild case. And man, it's just one of those cases, man. I just wish the trial was tomorrow, just to kind of see what they had, just like Richard Allen. And I know there was a lot of stuff going on with Richard Allen today. And I kind of covered Richard Allen last week, and I wasn't really excited about that because I wasn't feeling well, and I felt that was kind of a terrible live show. But anyway, but we will probably do an update, when there's some interesting stuff. But anyway, a few more things before we go. Alan Hinkle with the $10 super sticker. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. I missed a lot of time because I've had some health issues going on, and so I've kind of been trying to play makeup here. Tom N did the calculation. 104,000 hours of video if all those 51 terabytes were video, which I'm sure not all of it is, obviously, but man, that's a lot. I mean, that is a lot. And then if you guys remembered, I played that earlier where it sounds like they're putting a video together, where it's going to be, probably, a timeline of him, just like a basic timeline you built, but now it's going to have surveillance, him driving here, and then, the ones that have audio, they're going to have the audio in it, and so they're all kind of putting it together. That's what it sounded like to me. Women are sending him money on commissary. That's the thing, Thank you again. I'm so glad I'm getting some great feedback on the volume. Oh, I'm so glad I did that, and I'm sorry I didn't do that sooner. So I'm so glad that worked out. I think we got one more here, and so let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. Alan with 2-month membership. Thank you so much for renewing your membership and supporting the channel. It helps me out so much. I just put out something for the Patreons. That was for Dylan Rounds. And so another way to support this channel is becoming a Patreon. I'm going to start putting much more stuff on Patreon, because I've kind of missed out a little bit since my health, but I'm feeling much better, as well as my members for YouTube. So going to be getting that out as well. But yeah, I released some stuff that hadn't been heard before, and I will release that for my members as well. So if you are a member but not a Patreon, don't worry. Eventually I will bring that out for you guys as well. Gail, thank you so much for the $5, Canadian $5. You are so sweet. Chris, do you think some of the terabytes may be faro scanning? I know what you're talking about. Oh, I'm sure some of that is for sure. But you know, not common sense, but you know, just knowing, like, you know, working with, you know, computers and knowing what takes up the most space. Obviously, video is going to be something that's going to be high. It's going to take up a lot of storage. Chris, do you take care, please? Do you, Chris? Do you take care, please? Sorry if I kind of butchered that, but thank you, Michelle. Yeah, feeling much better. So, anyways, mods, because like I said, I missed so much of January, since, you know, we have 31 days. I am going to do a live tomorrow. I know I usually take Tuesday off, but I need to do tomorrow and Wednesday because unfortunately I've had a terrible month because of my health. So I will be back on. I may start an hour earlier than usual, just in case Steve's on later. So yeah, I'll be back on tomorrow. We may talk about the Murdoch thing. I don't know if you guys remember. I was saying, like, there was something that was going to happen at the end of the month and I couldn't remember it, and it was the Murdoch trial. They had one today earlier, and it was wild. Because they were listening to the testimony of the jurors for, you know, Becky Hill, you know, who supposedly kind of influenced the jury. Oh my gosh, it was funny. It was crazy. As a matter of fact, let me play you guys a highlight, just a small portion. I was laughing so hard. Let me just show you. And the judge, she is so funny.
Case I've ever tried with the sound system. So
you guys got to check this out. This is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
The sound system. So I question each of you. You have done absolutely nothing wrong. None of you, not any of you.
Let me turn this up a little.
You didn't ask to serve, but you served.
Sorry, it's a little low.
This was an unusually difficult trial because of its length. 6 weeks is almost unheard of in South Carolina as the length of a case. It was difficult because of the intense publicity and public interest in the case. It was difficult because of the complexity of testimony and exhibits in the case. And you acquitted yourself honorably. So this question today is not about anything you did wrong. Please be assured of that. I respect you and I respect your service. Today, I'm going to ask you to do something that's difficult. This case is unique. Most of the time, if there's some issue about improper conduct or contact with a juror, it comes up immediately. The judge puts questions to the juror and perhaps to the person who may have made a improper comment, and then you go on to verdict. Or sometimes it's very shortly after the verdict is rendered, and again the judge questions the affected jurors and the
it's coming up right here,
and makes a ruling right then and there on either a new trial or a mistrial. Now here, we are almost a year after your beginning of service on this case. And that makes it mighty difficult for you to do something I'm going to ask you to do, and it's this. Today, I ask you to focus your attention. What is that? Mr. Bailiff, what is that noise? Is that the sound system doing that?
I believe it's the port sound system.
This is the funkiest sound system in the world, so you just have to keep up with it. I've had trouble in every case I've ever tried.
Oh my God!
The sound system. So, jurors, if something happens in the sound system goes haywire, we'll stop for a minute until it stops.
Oh God!
as I was
I just tuned in when I saw that. I tuned in because it had already been going on for like 7 hours, and I literally tuned in right at that part. Oh my gosh, I thought I broke a rib. Oh, I've only seen like maybe in like 30 minutes of it, and oh my gosh, we may have to do like a special live show just watching this. Maybe I can like cut it up, but oh, there are some great moments in this, and I had only seen just a bit of it, but oh my gosh, this judge, she's no nonsense, and she gets after Harpootlian, and yeah, I definitely have got to do like a highlight video of this. Very interesting. Oh my gosh. Unfortunately, I was so busy, I wanted to watch more. But I was kicking myself because I'm like, I knew there was something at the end of the month that was going to be big, and I couldn't think of it. And then, I had my health issues, but oh my gosh. I'll just play that one little part here, but, she's just kind of going on, and then, like, what the hell is this?
ask you to focus your attention. What is that? Mr. Bailiff, what is that noise? Is that the sound system doing
I
that?
believe it's the port sound system.
This is the funkiest sound system in the world, so you just have to keep up
sorry,
with it. I've had trouble in every case I've ever tried.
Got to have some levity to, the true crime. Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. And there was more moments. It sounds like people watch this. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've got to break that down. Holy cow. Man. Anyway, thank you, Cunningham. Good to see you. Okay. Sensi Wackadoodle, donation for the painful foot suffering and tenacity to push through and keep going and keep it on. Appreciate you, Chris. Keep up physical therapy, I think you were going to say. Thank you so much, Sensei. That is so sweet. Jesse, I'll get a membership when I can get money on a card. No worries. I see you in here a lot. I know not everybody's financially sound, and if you haven't heard my story, I was literally homeless at one point. I hit rock bottom, homeless, rock bottom, and I slowly clawed back, and I lived paycheck to paycheck for many years, to where it was, I couldn't even live paycheck to paycheck and slowly going in debt. So I've been there. I understand not everybody can, donate and stuff or be a member, but I appreciate just the support and you guys being here. You guys are amazing. I love you guys so much. June, good to see you. I'm back. I'm sorry, I don't know why somebody blocked that. That might have been on accident. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, Tom, 25,500. Oh, I was gonna say because I said 25,000, and then I was like, I need to add the one on. So yeah, there've been 500. Yeah, that sounds better, Tom. Yeah, because I figured it'd been 25 something. So thank you, Tom, for the correction. Why is Nightbot deleting June? June, I'm so sorry. I don't know why Nightbot's deleting. I don't know if Maud maybe can look into that, or Jennifer. I promise, June, we will look into that. I don't know. Maybe I think you may have had, if it was a bunch of emojis, if it was like too many, it might have just deleted that. Thank you so much, June, for the $1.99. Yeah, her messages are getting deleted by Nightbot. What the hell? We'll look into that. Nightbot's been funny. We had another issue with somebody. It may just be today. It does happen. So please, I promise you, we're not blocking on purpose. So anyway, all right, guys, we're gonna have to finish there because I try to keep it to about an hour and a half. I may do Karen Reed. I am that's definitely on my radar for sure. We'll see what's coming up. Keeping it real, Chris, I came in and out. You never panhandled or asked for money. We can, like for free. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. When I was homeless, yeah, seeing people panhandle, I couldn't ever do that. Yeah, but, I clawed my way back. So, thank you, Sweet Dreams. I wish I could get to all your comments, but, I don't want to drag this on, but I really appreciate it, everybody. If you haven't, before you leave, please hit that like button. It does help the algorithm. And we will be back on tomorrow. Not sure what we're going to cover, but we'll be on probably start an hour earlier. So with that, we're going to go ahead and play our pet outro. And I'll let you guys know when we're going to do a new, add some more pet outros. So, no, it's just blocking all of her comments, which is really weird. I don't know. Nightbot needs to be timed out. All right. I love you guys. Have a wonderful evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you're at. And we will see you guys tomorrow or later today, depending on where you're at.